The smartwatch spiked at 2:11 a.m. Mindful minutes weren't mine. I'm not jealous of bodies, I'm jealous of readings. Bodies tell the truth if you stop staging them. Readings decide which truth is allowed to arrive. At 2:11 a.m., the health app served me a mountain where the night should have been flat. Heart rate up, sleep ring broken, 6 mindful minutes logged in the middle of a block that was supposed to say asleep. The graph looked like a little lie that had learned to count. The device name at the top of the screen was mine because Rafe had paired my old watch to his phone for fun when his died last month. It hadn't unlearned his wrist. Rafe had texted at 10:42, "The board wants one more drink. Don't wait up." He handles donors the way a bartender handles ice competently, pretending not to mind the cold. At 7:05 I had filmed the coffee rising because ritual is cheaper than religion and keeps better hours. I captioned it here. He reacted with the thumbs up he keeps for nights that plan to rename themselves. The health app didn't rename anything, it confessed. I set the phone face down because I was tired of doing bravery with my eyes. The apartment had the posture rooms get when they've rehearsed a story without you. The radiator breathed like an amateur chorus. The hallway practiced neutrality. I boiled water because water doesn't audition. The kettle sang, a small useful spine in the middle of other people's verbs. At 3:06 the lock cleared its throat. Rafe stepped in with his tie loosened and his shoes hooked by 2 fingers like witnesses too tired to lie. He smelled like lime and a decision made in decent lighting. He saw the phone on the counter and his pupils turned into clocks, that small dilation that arrives right before he chooses a verb. "You're up," he said, as if etiquette had mailed me a warning. The watch meditated at 2:11, I said. It didn't ask me what to do with the rest of the hour. He put both palms flat on the table the way our therapist taught us when we wanted to give words somewhere to land. The gesture is either dignity or triage. "Which question?" he asked. "Why or who?" "Why," I said, because Matt, my emergency adult, kicks me under imaginary tables when I lead with names. If I start with who, the graph gets to write our minutes. Rafe looked at the patch of wall where the paint keeps wanting to retire without ceremony. "Because the part wasn't coming," he said. "Because donors clapped at the wrong places and wanted to be forgiven with gin. Because the bar got loud when money started telling stories. Because Cole, yes, that Cole, the intimacy director with the wrists that move a kiss 2 inches and change its theology, said the sauna on the club roof was empty after midnight. Because I believed him for 5 minutes. Because sitting in heat felt like a way to call the body by its older name." "Did you kiss him?" I asked, breaking Matt's superstition like a boy with a stick and a fence. "In the hallway by the ice machine," he said. "Small and honest and wrong. The kind people choose when they feel generous about their version of themselves. I came home." "I hate how sane that sounds," I said, which is the sentence I use when mercy shows up before I find the tone to hold it. "We didn't sleep. We did something more humiliating and useful. We agreed to go to the club at noon when cities pretend to be merciful. The elevator smelled like eucalyptus that had learned to whisper. The attendant at the desk had a cathedral's poise. 'Welcome back,' he said to Rafe, the phrase falling between us like a dare. Cole was waiting by the rail over the pool with a paper cup and the posture of a man prepared to pay for his grammar. He saw us both and didn't pretend surprise, my favorite trick in men who owe a room honesty. "I was coming to apologize," he said, "to you and to the part of this building that mistakes steam for absolution." He held his hands up the way good predators do when they want you to count your own knives. "He loves you," he said to me. "I like being near that. I'm sorry my job uses the same grammar as desire." You don't get to call it ours, I said, because cleverness is my superstition and I tithe when I'm anxious. Rehearsal is a room, a kiss is a scene, a watch is a snitch. You don't get to be the verb in our kitchen. Rafe didn't look at Cole. He looked at me with the exact weight of a man deciding which door deserves his mouth. I want open windows, he said, not open doors. We left the roof with nothing more dramatic than the sky trying to volunteer forgiveness. In the kitchen, I moved the chair into the middle of the floor because procedures save men when gods won't. Rafe smiled like a man relieved to be caught kindly. He came around the table and paused, always that pause, his most decent habit. I met him halfway. The first kiss was apology without speeches. The second slid his fingers under my shirt and my hand to the back of his neck, the spot he keeps for oaths and sleep. We didn't perform a ceremony. We used heat as a system. If I could draw you the rest without getting evicted by an algorithm that prefers virtue louder than accuracy, I would. You can have breath that belonged to both of us, a belt resigning with grace, a palm pinning a wrist as proof we remembered to ask. The city prefers quizzes. 2 nights later, the club's social account posted a carousel at 1:41 a.m. Hansel light in a mirrored corridor, 4 bodies if you counted reflections. Rafe washing his hands, head down, Cole behind him, tie undone. A stranger passing like a rumor. Me in the doorway because whoever posted had tagged my name. The caption said, "Boys being brave." Comments did what comments do. I typed nothing. I turned the phone face down. I put the chair in the middle of the kitchen and sat until I could laugh. Rafe came home and handed me his phone without instructions. "Delete or archive," he said. "I don't want new grammar." "You don't need me to erase your verbs," I said. He rested his forehead against mine like a paperweight on a better draft. 3 days later, the email arrived with fonts that have never had to apologize to a kitchen. Residency, 7 days, quiet rooms, kind windows. Rafe forwarded the PDF with every map attached, which is how you know a man has learned where courage keeps its receipts. "I want to go without disappearing," he wrote. "I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me what I wrote before what I did." I taped 2 lines under the rubber orange magnet because props still save us when God is off shift. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He added a third in his careful mess. If an "I can't" is coming, it happens where both of us are. Night 1, wind and a sentence I decided to believe. Today the table forgave me. Night 3, nothing, and my thumb was the worst teenager in the world. I opened the health app against my will and stared at the graph until the line admitted it wasn't prophecy, just math. I moved the chair instead. At 8:12, he called with a voice that made the kettle think there might be a god. "I almost kissed a window," he said. "It didn't know your name. I closed the blinds." He came back with a suitcase that didn't slam and 2 pages he treated like animals. "They're not good," he said. "They're mine," I said, and we performed our small religion. Paper, kettle, a room that knows it isn't a lobby. He slid his hands under my shirt from behind, slower than contrition, faster than nostalgia. "Here," he said into the bend of my neck, which is the only word left that has never demanded witnesses. We tried boring. We failed gracefully. We tried again. Cole learned to stand at the back of the house with his arms crossed like a man paying the bill he owes himself. He clapped exactly once after the kiss on preview night. He didn't text. Neither did we. The smartwatch kept its talent for cheerful cruelty. The sauna kept its opinion of men who confuse steam for light. One more test. The world is thorough when it thinks you've studied. At 12:07 a.m. a banner slid across my phone. Mindful minutes 6:20 a.m. The ring had broken the night into a lesson. I moved the chair. Rafe came home at 1:51 with a sentence ready and his hands empty. "I walked him to the elevator," he said. He kissed the hallway goodnight. I kissed the button good decision. Do you want to hate me now or later? I prefer now. I like the way you come back from it. I'm tired of coming back, I said. I want to stay. He touched my jaw with 2 fingers, the intimacy director's sacrament repurposed for domestic faith, and for once the gesture belonged exactly where it landed. We went to bed without performing an essay on forgiveness. We used our mouths the way men do who still prefer heat to cleverness. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. Weeks alter even honest bruises. The health app still loves its mountains. The corridor still reflects 4 men when there are only 2. The city still makes rooms that want to pronounce us. I keep the kettle and the chair we move when words try to riot. If another hour offers me a graph with the kind of honesty nobody asked for, or a window that wants to practice absolution, or a hand on a back that isn't mine easing a man toward a door that refuses to be neutral, I hope I remember the handful of humiliating, useful acts that got us through this one. Put water on. Ask why before who. Hold the breath before contact and let it finish being the scene. Then wait for the lock's small throat clearing, like it's the first note in a song we can still tune to. We didn't get away with anything, we stayed. We are still staying. When Rafe says here, my body has stopped auditioning for suspicion. The watch can keep its peaks, the sauna can keep its steam, the roof can keep its glass. We'll keep being the address, or, on the nights we can't, we'll be the map that admits its misprints and still draws the way back. Past the lobby that thinks it's a verb, past the elevator eye that loves its own memory, into a kitchen where a chair knows what it's for, a kettle sings at 7:05, and 2 hands that have done worse learn again how to touch without asking the night to edit.